This is Scott Spears, and I'd like to welcome you to another edition of The Exchange in the midst of a heat wave here in Marion, Ohio, Central Ohio, and a lot of this country. My goodness, we have 7 days of non-stop over 90-degree temperatures, heat indexes above 100 degrees, although I don't believe there's such a thing as heat index. Look it up. I think it's a bunch of nonsense. But in any event, it is hot, and the first day of summer comes this week. Can you imagine that? June 21st, first day of summer, longest day of daylight hours. Now, people will tell you it's the 20th. Don't believe that. That's meteorologists just trying to screw with your mind. Now, what are we going to do here at this station to cool off? You can see we're trying with the clothing we're wearing here, but there's one item, one dessert that will help you cool off. Every man, woman, and child alive loves one dessert item, and that's a dilly bar from Dairy Queen, the famous dilly bar. So we are providing dilly bars here tonight during the program to help us stay cool. Matt, have you ever had a dilly bar?
I have not.
Oh, you're communist.
I'm a communist.
You have to know what a dilly bar is. This is where it's at.
Never had a dilly bar?
I've never had a dilly bar.
You know what a dilly bar is, right?
Yeah.
You've had a dilly bar.
Yeah.
Is it not where it's at?
It's where it's at.
Everybody loves a dilly bar.
I have not gone to Dairy Queen very much in my life, and every time I have,
If you went once, you should have had a dilly bar.
no, I've gotten a strawberry banana blizzard.
What does a dilly bar run these days?
I have no idea.
You didn't look at the receipt.
Nope.
Look at you with your deep pockets. You just say, hand me some dilly bars. How did you order these dilly bars?
I went through the Dairy Queen, and I said, can I get a box of dilly bars?
Dilly bars.
Yep.
Now tell people what's going to happen on this station on Friday morning, 9:15 a.m. till 1 in the afternoon, on the first day of summer, during the heat wave.
So Friday morning, we're going to be giving away dilly bars. Marion Withrow is going to be there.
Yes, she is.
So, anytime, you have the former Treasurer of the United States giving away dilly bars, you can't beat that.
Now we're doing this. This is our service here at this station because we feel we need to play our part in the midst of this heat wave. You know, people are opening up pools for free. People are giving away water, fans. They're letting you go in public buildings that are air conditioned to cool off. Listen what we're doing because we really care about you. So we're giving you a dilly bar. Think about that. A dilly bar. That's all you need to know, really. That it's America's favorite dessert. Did you know that?
I did not.
Is it really?
No, I just said that. But that's what it's going to be. It's America's favorite dessert. The dilly bar is America's favorite dessert. So you tune into this station. Are you going to listen Friday morning and possibly get a dilly bar? You just live close by.
I'm going to try. I have to be at work at 10, but I'm going to try.
In the morning?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's a long day.
I know.
That's terrible.
It's horrible.
You better have a dilly bar.
I better.
Yeah.
I'm going to stop on my way. And
Stop and get yourself a dilly bar. The real mystery on Friday is in a studio with no freezer. I knew he'd go in. The real mystery is good. I knew he couldn't help himself. How does that dilly bar taste?
It's like a Klondike.
No, don't say that. People get angry with you.
It's vanilla ice cream.
It's a dilly bar. On a scale of 1 to 10, it's a.
I mean, I'll give it a 6.
No. It's a 10 in the midst of this heat wave. It's a dilly bar.
Yeah, they're solid.
Dilly bar? Scale of 1 to 10?
Considering I don't like ice cream at all, I'll give it an 8.
Give it an 8. And she doesn't like ice cream.
Or
Think
just
about
don't care
that.
about ice cream. I don't know.
Ice cream, that's America's favorite dessert.
But pretty good.
Pretty good?
It's the chocolate that makes it good.
Well, see, I'm not a big chocolate person, but it is the dilly bar. Ask for it by name at your Dairy Queen. It's the only place you can get an Orange Julius. It's the only place you can get a dilly bar. I mean, really, you've got to go to Dairy Queen. They've got the monopoly on this stuff.
That's why I didn't know how much a box of them were, because I also got an Orange Julius while I was there.
You didn't get anybody else an Orange Julius?
Well, you see, I had to wait out there for 30 minutes anyway, so it's fine.
Jeez. So this is a box?
This is a box.
Listen, this is what you get. This is a box of dilly bars at Dairy Queen. This is what a box of dilly bars looks like.
That's a bag.
Well, apparently not. We don't know how much it costs, but God bless Dairy Queen. In any event, the heat.
Probably around $10.
$10 for a box?
Probably around.
No.
I would think more.
I mean, it was like $14
Really?
for the box and the Orange Julius.
Oh gosh, that's a little pricey for dilly bars.
Well,
I would think it was like $5. I would think it used to be like $5.
In the
Well,
80s.
Yeah.
In the 80s,
Stuff
I wasn't
happens.
alive in the 80s. I don't know anything about the 80s. In any event, let's move along here. Let's get to some stories. Help you beat the heat, Enjoy yourself. By the way, if you have a dilly bar, eat it. Enjoy. Enjoy along with us. Okay, this is interesting. Years after the Me Too movement brought down many of Hollywood's big celebrities, also news names like Charlie Rose and Matt Lauer, in an op-ed in the New York Times is asking if they can now be forgiven. Can they come back to work if they weren't put in prison for this? Actor Kevin Spacey was accused of doing some things, and he went on a talk show recently and said, yes, he was a little too handsy, but now he's losing his house, he owes millions on it. Can we forgive these people?
I don't know. I mean, I would say no, because I don't think that I don't think it's like that. Their actions were ever like they were always considered reprehensible. So I mean, like they had to have known what they were doing was wrong, and they did it anyways. And now that it's come to light, they're like, well, I owe millions on this and millions on that. And
but don't you think they just want to work to some degree? I mean, Kevin Spacey is obviously in financial trouble, but I mean, I think the others are probably financially okay. They just want to come back to work.
Well, you see, it's one of those fields where there's more people who want to do it than there are jobs that need filled. So if you do things like that, you're
out.
They're just gonna shove you off to the side, and somebody else will fill the role.
Like communism in the old days.
Like
communism. You were called a communist, you were gone.
Yeah.
Do you think they can be forgiven?
I think the question for me is, are they really going to change? Like, if you're someone who does something like that to women, do people like that ever change? I don't know. If someone can truly never be like that again and change completely and their heart's different and all that, then I could see forgiveness. But I don't know if I'd believe them. I would struggle to believe that they're different, I guess.
See, I think there were different levels, though, and I think that's the problem. I mean, some of them were outright rapes, and I certainly don't think we would forgive that.
Yeah.
But if somebody's handsy, I mean, what does that mean? Is that like groping, I would guess?
Yeah, I guess it really just depends on what you would classify as handsy.
Yeah, and some of them did that, and some of them pressured people who were under them, and I guess they did have a physical relationship, but it was not rape, it wasn't forced, it was just, I'm your superior, and I guess that's the way it went.
I've heard of a lot of stuff like that in Hollywood, definitely.
So, is it different levels? If you're handsy, can you be forgiven? If you rape somebody, you're not going to be forgiven.
I wonder if you're handsy, is it just a matter of time,
See, I don't know, because have you seen The Light now? Because I imagine there are a lot of people who would have been handsy who would not be now because they know what the protocol is.
Because they know the repercussions.
Yeah. What are you allowed to do?
You stay out of people's bubble. I have 12 inches.
So you can never touch anybody.
I would not say nobody, but it's just different. It's the relationship.
I mean, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I think you would know who and who not to touch. I think if you're gonna hug somebody, they're probably gonna be somebody you know personally or something somebody you're close with. I don't think you should just.
Oh, not hugging.
Also,
No, I'm saying I've done things at work over the years, like that. Now is that allowed? Can I do that?
I mean, I would say so.
I think it depends on the person, but also your intention. So usually, that would be fine.
But what if somebody doesn't like it?
Then they probably don't have a close relationship with you at all, and maybe it was weird that you did that.
Is that weird? How could to me that's I can't imagine that would ever be seen as weird.
I don't know. See, I always figured if I saw somebody do the whole I've always figured it's like a playful thing, jokingly.
That's what it is, and I don't know where that could be seen as handsy or sexual because isn't that what we're really talking about here with the Me Too? What is that?
I think
that's why
you just said.
I think that's why there's no real way to accidentally fall into the Me Too movement. I think you had to have done something that was definitely that you shouldn't have done.
I told the story earlier this year. It had nothing to do with Me Too, but I was in an office setting and somebody came in sick one day and they wanted me to test their temperature. And were very adamant that I put my hand on their head and touch, and I didn't want to do it because I thought they might be ill. And I also felt weird about the whole thing. Why am I testing you? I don't think this is accurate. I don't think this is going to give me a good reading.
Yeah.
But now could I be called inappropriate for doing that?
I would hope not. I wouldn't think so.
I mean, she specifically asked you to feel her forehead.
She did. She put her face right in my area, and she said, "See if I have a fever."
You know, the whole thing about, like, first off,
But if somebody would have walked in,
you-
they probably said, "What's going on
if
over
you
there?"
if you think that you have a fever, stay like out of my area.
Out of your bubble.
Yeah, stay a good distance
But
away.
what I'm saying, she wouldn't shut up until I did it.
Then you take the back of your hand and you do that.
And you just give her a good
And you
old
say,
nod.
yeah, you
yeah,
feel
you're
hot.
fine.
Yeah, but could that come back to haunt you?
I would hope not.
Well,
Yeah,
you never know
I
in
don't-
these days and
I don't
times.
think so.
I don't know. You know, what about a third person? Now, I've seen this happen before, where somebody else witnesses your relationship with somebody else, and they go, you know, you're really having inappropriate touching there.
Well, I mean, I think that's kind of up to...
You would think that doesn't happen, but it does.
I think that's kind of up to the two people who are doing whatever touching, and maybe if it's like a work environment, then I guess possibly their boss, depending on how that whole thing's going. So, like, I don't know that... I think you'd have to speak to the two people who, you know, were involved, and then depending on, like I said, the environment, maybe a boss or like...
I thought it was
resources of some kind.
I thought it was areas. I mean, that's what I really thought this was about. You certainly don't put any pressure on anybody to do anything because of your position, but I thought it was the areas that you were touching that were the problem. Hitting somebody in the shoulder, I mean, if I hit a guy in the shoulder, nobody'd think anything of that. But if I hit a girl in the shoulder, that could be construed as something.
I don't think so. I think the same thing. It's
Yeah.
just, you know, humor, playful.
I would say not normally, but like you could be, not you, but like there could be someone that's just kind of annoying and just always doing stuff like
If you
that
just
to
touch me, I'm
people.
going to have to call HR.
Like some people might
That's the
just...
world we live.
Yeah, right. It depends on the person, but I would say 95% of the time, no. You know.
Well, it's interesting to me because as I was telling, it may have been Matt the other day, that, you know, I'm not a touchy person at all, like in pictures or anything, but when you see pictures of television shows or anything done in broadcast, the people are usually touching. And what people have found out in psychological and sociological studies is that touching shows that you're friends, that you're close. It's really more symbolism. You might not really be that close, and you certainly probably aren't sitting there touching each other the entire time, but when you take a picture, you do, because if you're all standing apart from each other, it looks very strange, and it doesn't sell as well.
Yeah, I agree.
So, like, if it'd be like having a dilly bar in a commercial and you're not smiling while you're eating it. You know, people would say, well, what's wrong with them? That doesn't look very good. You know? So, I mean, it's hard to navigate these waters now that we live in.
I feel like it shouldn't be hard. It should just come from like a genuine place and not be weird. And
So do they get forgiven?
I guess it depends on what they did. I guess in terms of the whole being touchy thing, I guess it depends on how you were touchy, I suppose.
yeah.
I think they can go to the internet. I don't think they're ever going to be a part of an organization again, because I think the organization, somebody's going to have a problem with that. Somebody who works there or some sponsors are going to have a problem with that. You can do something in and of yourself and probably be okay, but you're going to have to face backlash if it was a big story. Like, I don't think Charlie Rose or Matt Lauer is just going to be able to get on and do interviews and somebody not say anything, and it might hurt your credibility.
Yeah.
So there we are. Now this is an interesting story. A woman says that she has become less gracious and less diplomatic as she's gotten older. Her brother even says she's not as sweet as she used to be. Do people get less gracious as they age?
Oh, it so depends on the person. I've seen both many
Really?
times, yes. And when people become grouchy as they get older, that is such a freaking shame. It just is.
But why do you think it is? What do you think happens with age has made them, as you say, grouchy?
I think maybe decades of being in survival mode and just being like, you know, like it just makes you more and more. "Ugh." But then I've seen the opposite so many times, where age causes people to come into like humility and, you know, be more kind.
I don't know. I think when you get to a certain age, even if you're a sweet lady, I think at some point you become grouchy.
I think that people just become impatient after a certain period of time. After a while, you just don't want to argue anymore. You're just like, no, okay.
But I don't think they know they're doing it.
I think they.
I don't.
I think they know.
I don't think they know at all. I think if they knew they were doing that, if they were coming off that way, they wouldn't do it. I don't think that's a conscious thing. Because most people would not sit down and consciously go, I'm going to be cranky.
Maybe they realize it afterwards, later on, after they're gone, and they're like, I shouldn't have done that, and then it happens again the next day. And the next day. And the next day.
I don't know. Well, sometimes there's just a lot of confusion, and when you're younger, confusion, for some reason, you can handle it better. But as you get older, you're not so tolerant of confusion.
Yeah, that could be sometimes.
Well, I mean, as you've aged, do you think you're less tolerant than you were when you were younger? Less gracious?
No, I don't think I'm less gracious. I think in a lot of areas I'm more gracious, but I notice that there are many, many times where when I was younger I wouldn't have spoken up, and now I'm like, oh no, like that's not happening. Yeah.
I think there's more confidence that makes you seem less gracious.
I think maybe there's less fear. They're just like times where you got to chase the neighbor kid down the street because of something they did to your kid. You know, when I was 20, I wouldn't have done that. I didn't have kids old enough, but now I'm like, what?
What about their parents?
I don't know. They stay inside.
Oh, so you don't have to worry about that.
So, I don't know. You can't. Well, I mean, I'm not a parent, so I mean, I guess I have no real opinion on this. But people tend to not like when you yell at their kid.
Yeah, people don't like when you yell at their kid. If you can yell at your own kid, but don't yell at somebody else's kid.
Yeah, I have never like raised my voice with someone else's kid when it wasn't like seriously like this needs addressed. But yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, because would you like somebody to yell at your kid?
No, but if they did something really bad, I would understand. You know.
I think you say
See,
that.
yeah, I think if the
I think that's one of the things in theory.
So like here's how I see the situation. So like usually if somebody else is yelling at your kid, it's because you're not there to do it.
Yeah.
So like if you happen to come across somebody yelling at your kid and you didn't know why, you are immediately going to be defensive of your kid. And then,
for sure.
I think that even if your kid was in the wrong, you're just in defense mode at this point already. So you're just going to defend your kid until you get somewhere else, and then you're going to scold your kid.
Yeah.
I just think you probably do get less gracious as you get older, but I just think that's probably because you're more confident in what you're saying, and also what you got to lose. The older you get, the less time you got.
the less there is to lose.
Yeah, less there. I mean, really, what do you got to lose at that point? When you got nothing to lose, you can say anything you want.
I guess.
But if you don't want to be seen a certain way because of some position you're in, you might be a little more gracious. I mean, don't you think? I mean, they portray like this sweet older lady. That's not really realism. Now, the sweet younger kids, young kids can be rather sweet. People at like 16, 17, 18. Until they get hardened by a couple divorces in life. But I don't know that the sweet old lady thing really isn't a thing anymore.
I've met several.
Well, you think, but you spend some time with them.
I'd say my grandma's pretty, sweet old lady. She fits. I'll say that. She's not very. I don't know. She has her moments, but
see, there you go. That's all you need to say. I'm not saying these people are grouchy all the time.
Usually she's the sweet old lady.
I don't know. I don't know. I can't say that I've ever encountered somebody who I thought was the image that we see of a sweet old lady. Just the nice and everything, always happy and always smiling and this baking cookies and with the apron on.
I'm telling Mary Ellen.
Oh, no, Mary Ellen's nice. Mary Ellen's very, very, very nice. Nice lady.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's gotten sweeter with age.
So she's your one example.
Right.
Interesting.
Right. No, she is. She's always been very nice to me.
Yeah.
But we've had a long relationship. But I mean, she's not like sugary sweet. It's not like that. She's a real person.
Yeah. I would hope that retirement and, I don't know, less stress would make you sweeter, but I'm not there yet, so.
I don't think it does.
I think maybe sometimes it makes people lonely and bored, and maybe they worry about their money.
Well, I don't know if it's money. I think people start to die. I think you start to get, even if you're in good health, you do get more checkups than you once did. it just becomes intolerable.
Like when you're older, people like you I guess grew up with and hung out with when you were younger. Yeah, like Scott said, they tend to unfortunately die off, and so, and eventually there's just not many of those people left around.
Yeah.
And your family usually doesn't stay as close to you the older you get. They drift into different areas. How often do you visit Grandma? Probably not as much as you did when you were younger.
Yeah.
And she wasn't probably as active. Or she's not as active now as she was in those days.
It's very true.
So I think that hardens you as life gets older and things go along. So I think this woman is probably right. I don't know what you do about it. Just got to go with it.
I guess so.
Don't worry about it. I mean, really, you have to stop worrying what people think about you, I think is what it's really all about.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably good.
If they're grouchy, they don't care what people think.
I don't know, because if you tell a grouchy person that they're grouchy, or like if you like confront a grouchy person about something, they definitely, like, they'll tell you they don't care, but like when they all of a sudden, like, their volume gets ramped up, so it seems...
Or they'll tell you they're not grouchy.
Yeah. But then it seems kind of obvious, like, then they snap at you usually, like, I'm not grouchy, that kind of thing, and then you're like, oh, well, yeah, you're right.
Because they don't know that they're being grouchy. This comes back to the point. I don't think they realize that they're being grouchy.
I think they're just more short-tempered now.
I think we're all grouchy sometimes.
Not me.
I hope we don't get grouchy as we get older. You don't get grouchy?
No.
That's good.
I'm even flow all the time. I don't feel there's any need to get grouchy.
Well, then you've been very lucky.
No, I just think everything will pass. See, that's
right.
my motto in life. This
You're
too
right.
shall pass. So whatever's going on that may be unpleasant, I think, well, okay, it's going to have an ending.
That's a powerful thought. It's very true.
I mean, everything's got a beginning and an ending.
Yep.
That's the way it is. I think
Like
that's
the
how
Beatles
life goes.
said.
What did they say?
What's that one song? There's a time to
Oh,
kill
yeah,
and
yeah,
a time. Didn't they say
Yeah,
something
they
about
did,
the
they
beginning? Yeah.
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 What is that? It's turn. It's something
Yeah.
about turning, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think if the Beatles said it, it's got to be right.
That's right.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, there's a time for everything. But I don't think getting stressed out or amped up about anything ever did anybody any good.
It's so true. It's very true.
Well, how was that ever a plus?
Getting stressed out or...
Yeah, worrying, being amped up, being volatile, ill-tempered,
Well, I mean...
being short with people.
Well, I mean, I think usually, like, 95% of the time it's not good. But, 5%, not even 5%, I did 2%. 2% of the time it's valid.
Yeah.
But nobody likes to be barked at.
Well, I mean, yeah, but, like, sometimes it's valid.
Is it?
agree. Yes.
I mean, civil wars are fought, and I think it fits everything you just mentioned.
Civil war?
Everything you just mentioned, yeah.
Well, I'm talking about having a cup of coffee with somebody. You're talking about the Civil War?
And just art, yeah. I'm talking on a broader scale.
I think they were killing each other. I don't think there was just an argument going on there.
Well, how did the Civil War start? They didn't just start with killing each other.
No, but there was policy issues there.
Yeah, and lots of arguments, and a long time of arguing.
Yeah, but that's different than, like, you left out the wet towels. You didn't put them in the dryer.
Oh, those are the kind of things where you just gotta say, you know what, you're right, and then just forget about it, and then forget it ever happened.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying, why have that fight? What is the point?
Well, see, I don't know.
Did you take out the garbage?
I don't even know why they picked those fights to begin with. It's not worth it.
Exactly.
It's
I
not
don't
worth-
it goes nowhere.
It's not worth the time.
It creates hostility
It's
with people.
not worth the time.
Why do you
in
want to
one
be
ear and out the other.
Right. Nobody's going to stick around
See,
for that.
a lot of the times when you get in arguments like that, my favorite thing to do is just look at them and say, you know what, you're right. And then I just...
But you don't believe it.
Yeah, I don't believe it. I just
There
forget
you
it
go.
ever happened, and then it's out my mind.
You don't believe it's right, but that's the way it is. Like, we were recently attended a school board meeting where there's a lot of hostility going on in that
Yes,
room.
we did.
Now, do you feel that was channeled correctly? Were they doing the best they could?
No, I don't think so. I think that they did a pretty good job up in the beginning of, like, stone-facing it and making it look like there was no anger. But then when it got to the point where Tara had added those things to the agenda, it just kept rolling, and it got bigger and bigger, and I was like, oh, Lord.
So, really what we've learned is don't hold back or hold back. I say hold back. What's the point?
Well, as far as what?
Anything.
The city council meetings or the school board meetings?
Life. There's no reason. If you want to tell somebody in a calm voice that they're doing something wrong, that's okay. But no reason to be hostile.
What is a con voice?
Calm.
Oh, I thought you said. Never mind. I don't know what. I was like, what? Okay, calm voice. Okay.
Yeah.
Makes more sense.
I don't think you did that exactly right. Here's how you should do it.
I mean,
do what you want.
Yeah, I mean, because when you are, even if you are arguing the correct side of things, let's say, arguing never really, because the other person gets defensive, and when you get defensive, you kind of put up a wall of sorts where I don't even think you necessarily are paying attention to what they're trying to argue. You're just defending your side. Yeah. So but if you calmly are discussing things, there's a better exchange of ideas that go on there.
Now, here's a quick topic I want to get in the first side of this program. The Surgeon General of the United States is... That's all you had to hear was the Surgeon General?
Yeah, I like
the Surgeon General of the United States is sounding the alarm bells on social media. Social media causes a lot of mental health problems.
I like this. I don't know who the current Surgeon General is, but I love this man.
Shut up. I don't have time for this. The older I get, the more shut up and let me finish the sentence, will you, for God's sake? Oh, man.
Just prove your own point.
I know. The older you get, the less gracious you are. The Surgeon just hold your mouth or do something. Sit on your hands. The Surgeon General is sounding the alarm bells on social media. Social media causes a lot of mental health problems, and the Surgeon General wants to put warning signs on certain sites, like are on tobacco packages. Now you can talk.
I agree 150%. Like I said before, love this man or woman. Don't know who it is currently.
It's a man.
It is a man. Love this man. He's doing a fantastic job. I appreciate it.
He's not done it yet. He wants to do it.
Well, you got to start somewhere. So I appreciate the thought he's put into this.
Yeah, I agree.
But people will say freedom of speech, and monitor your own kids.
I mean, that's fine. People say free market, and that's why we haven't banned tobacco, even though it's addictive. We just kind of say, you can sell it. You just have to slap this label in there to let people know that it's addictive.
Yeah.
But do you think this is going to stop anybody?
No.
So what's the point?
I think it might make some people think.
I think that there are quite a few people who actually don't truly understand. I think if you slap a Surgeon General warning on it, I think it'll kind of be like one of those, like how people who smoke already smoke, but
people do the chew.
But they'll tell everybody they know who doesn't do it, or like kids that they shouldn't do it because it's super bad, like that kind of thing. I think it'll eventually
hypocritical.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but they're the ones who would know. I mean, they do it. If somebody who does something, it's like do as I say, not as I do. If they're doing it and they know it's a bad idea and they tell you not to do it, you should probably listen to the person who already did it.
But that's the person. If you're doing it, then I don't buy it, because then it is do as I say, not as I do. And I never thought that was a good way to phrase anything. I don't think that's a good way to couch an argument.
It's not do as I do. It's do as I say.
Right, but I don't care what you say because I see you doing it. So why are you doing it if you're telling me not to?
Yeah.
I mean,
we lead by example.
I'm aware, but I think there are a good number of people who there are a lot of kids of people of both parents will smoke, and like a lot of kids of that both parents smoke, they do end up smoking, but not all of them. It's probably I think it's close.
I don't
to
think it has any. I don't.
Oh, I think
it's because of the parents doing it or not doing it. I think they just make their own mind up.
I don't.
What do you think? 90 seconds left to go here. Have it.
I smoked for 10 years of my life, and it's because I met a girl in high school. She became my best friend, and she got me smoking. So I think maybe it's more friends than parents.
Well, that was the only reason, just because she did it?
Yeah, I did almost everything she did. It was bad. It was really bad.
What else did she do?
Really bad things, and I probably would have graduated high school if I wasn't friends with her, but I still love her.
Is she still doing these things?
I don't know. We're not close anymore.
Oh, check her out on social media.
Yeah. I just know that she changed the course of my life big time.
For the bad?
Yes, but I learned a lot.
But you love her. That doesn't make any sense.
We were kids. I can't be mad. We were kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
She changed the course of your life for the bad, but you love her.
Yes, Scott, we forgive people.
There's a juxtaposition there that I don't really understand.
Most of the time.
I don't know. I feel like it's
so quick. We're running out of time for this half hour. We're gonna come back. Should we put the warning sign on the social media?
Yep.
I don't think it's going to
For
matter.
teenagers, for
Forget
kids.
it. Who cares? Who's going to be looking at this?
Parents.
Look at the friends. All right, we'll be back after this with more topics that you don't want to miss. Hey, Scott Spears back with Heather Conley and Matt Morgan. I don't think I introduced you during the first segment. I was too busy excited about the Dilly Bar and heat, but that's the way it goes. That's how it goes. If they don't know you by now, listen. It's just trouble. Now, I like this subject. Miley Cyrus. We all like her. She's crazy. Miley Cyrus, in a recent interview with David Letterman on his new program, My Next Guest Is, said the trait that she inherited from her father, famous country singer Billy Ray Cyrus, My Achy Breaky Heart, was narcissism. That's what she inherited from him.
Wow.
But she said she inherited a lot of good things from him, but the main thing she inherited was narcissism. What do you think? I bet he didn't like that. Bet he got cranky.
See, I don't know what. I feel like every time we have a story where somebody says, "Oh, you know, the traits I picked up from my parents," it's always negative traits.
Well, because your parents don't know what they're doing, really.
they're just flying
Well,
by
I mean,
their pants.
if you're like their oldest child, they really don't know what they're doing because they've never done it before.
Yeah.
And even if you're not their oldest child, it doesn't mean they're doing it right. I mean, it takes quite a while. I think the younger you are, the more difficult it is. I think that's why older parents are better parents. I think they understand things better.
Agreed. Definitely.
But I agree.
So what were you confused about?
Well, no, I agree. I just agree that older parents are better than younger parents. But I mean, that's.
Can you imagine having Billy Ray Cyrus for a father just to begin with?
The one-hit wonder? Wasn't he close to a one-hit wonder?
I don't remember any other things he did except Achy Breaky Heart.
I
But
think
boy,
that's
that was a
one.
big hit. It was a big hit.
Yeah.
If I listened to it, I'm sure I'd know what it is because you guys are talking
Oh,
about
it was a
but
gigantic hit.
I don't know. I don't even know that one.
It was a weird song too. If you went through it now, you would say, "Boy, that's weird," but it was everywhere. I mean,
Yeah.
it was the biggest song for about 3 or 4 months. I mean, it was just huge. Everybody knew it was a punchline.
We had to learn a square dance to it in like second grade
There
or
you
something.
go.
Oh, I remember how. Well, I don't know if it was but I remember having to learn the square dance. That was a time.
But do you think you can inherit narcissism from a parent?
I mean,
See, I don't think narcissists know that they're narcissists. I think if by definition you know you think you're a narcissist, you're not.
how so?
Because a narcissist feels everything's all about them. So if you think you're a narcissist, that means you are thinking of other people. You're noticing that objectification. You would not say, wonder if I'm a narcissist. Because you're giving then thought to other people.
Yeah, but you're still doing you're still acting as if you were a narcissist.
No, that whole thought that, am I a narcissist, means you're not. Because you're saying, am I this way? Am I all self-absorbed?
I don't know. That's like the whole thing where like if you have to ask yourself if you're crazy, you're not crazy. There are a lot of crazy people.
Oh, that's not true. Who said that?
It's
No, crazy people, you might question if you're crazy, because you might be seeing things or hearing things. I mean, you might question that, but I'm saying, if you are a narcissist, it's all about you. And you wouldn't think you were a narcissist, because now you're thinking, well, am I all about me? That whole fact right there is, you're not thinking about you. That whole thought. So I don't think she's a narcissist because I don't think she would know.
If she was a narcissist.
Yeah.
Man, that word comes up a lot the last decade.
Well, it's because everybody's a narcissist now because they feel if they beat you down, like somebody beats you down and calls you names and is passive aggressive, that they're a narcissist.
Yeah.
I don't know if they really are. They could be rude. They might be mean, but I don't know if they're a narcissist.
True narcissists have no empathy for other people, right? Or is that a sociopath?
I think it's a sociopath. A narcissist, just everything's about them. They
Yeah.
are the best.
Yeah.
Nobody's better than me.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You can't think you're a narcissist because if you're thinking you're a narcissist, that's a negative. You're contemplating that there might be something negative about you. Narcissist wouldn't do that.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't know. I think that I think that if you're doing
I don't think you'd be this thoughtful in an interview to say that you were a narcissist if you really were. That's a thoughtful thought. To think, hey, I'm a narcissist. This is what I inherited from my father.
Why are people taking shots at their parents like that, by the way?
Well, I think you've got to be honest about your parents. I always said it's very hard to write a book about yourself because if you put your childhood in there and your parents are still alive, they're not going to like what you say because how they saw things and how you see things are two different ways.
I mean, yeah, but I don't think that that's. I mean, I don't know. I think that there's a lot of things that she could have said other than narcissism there.
I think she's being honest.
Well, she's wrong, apparently, according to you.
Right, but I think she was being honest in the answer. I don't think she was lying. I just don't think she is a narcissist because you wouldn't self-diagnose that if you were one.
Yeah, you would never admit that you're a narcissist if you're a narcissist.
Right.
Yeah. So maybe she sees his narcissism and she has bad
She thinks that
qualities.
she's got that. Now, she might
Yeah.
be self-absorbed.
Yeah.
She might be an egomaniac, but I don't think she's a narcissist. But maybe he is.
Well, I mean, if he disagrees with it, apparently he's a narcissist.
That he disagrees that she's a narcissist?
Well,
No, I think that would
he
feed
is.
in. I think. Well, I don't know that I think he's just angry.
well. So she said that one of the main traits she inherited from him was
Narcissism. Yep.
So if he says that's wrong, then apparently he's a narcissist.
No, I think it would make you a narcissist if you said she was wrong. Yes. Yeah. Because you're not questioning it. You're
Okay.
saying she's wrong. I'm right. That's narcissism.
I think when it comes to stuff like narcissism,
He can't win this argument. He should just shut up.
He should.
Yeah. Now, here's the point I was actually getting to with this. What traits have
Okay.
you inherited from your parents?
I don't know. I don't know that I've ever thought about
Well,
it.
that's why we're asking. What have you inherited from your parents?
You know, my dad was really good at being 5 minutes late, and I'm really good at being 5 minutes late, but I'm getting better.
Tardiness.
I should never admit that.
That's what.
Yeah.
There you go. Tardiness is the trait she's inherited from her parents.
But I'm getting better. I think.
Really?
I'm usually on time here.
You ought to call that girl up from high school
Yeah.
who gave you all those bad habits.
Yeah.
And see what she's doing these days.
Yeah, we should talk to
Maybe
her.
that's
That'd be
right.
We should bring her on.
Yeah, that'd be a good show.
Yeah, she'd be good. What's she doing these days?
Man. I don't know.
Okay, being late. What do you got?
I don't know. So like when my parents are like planning to do something, they they'll say that they'll be there in like 25 minutes or something, and then like an hour later they show up. That kind of thing.
Being late too?
Yeah. It's
This is all we got?
Yeah,
Parents are late.
they just kind of sit there and talk for like, I don't know, 25 minutes that they were supposed to be going to this place, and then like 30 minutes of like after the fact that we were already supposed to, like they leave like 45 minutes late every time.
No, for me it's because there were 47 things that needed done before I left.
Or if they go shopping,
Yeah.
like
You didn't have anything different?
my favorite thing was when they would like when we would go to the grocery store and they'd say we'll be back in 20 and like we gotta go in there and grab 3 things. And then 2 hours later, here they come out with a grocery cart full of things, and I've been sitting in the car this whole time, like, oh.
So you
about
do that
time.
too, though? That's what you've inherited.
I don't shop. I eat at everybody else's house.
Did you hear the question? What have you inherited from your parents?
So I guess it's just bad timing. I don't really pay attention to the time. I just kind of like, oh, look at that.
You know, we are related. So it
Oh,
makes,
that's right. We did
Yeah, that
learn
is
that.
true.
So
That
it
is
Some kind of
true.
relation here. Shirt string relation, right?
I don't even know.
Yeah. Well, that's
Cousins
interesting.
Or something.
Yeah, like 3rd or 4th cousins or something like that.
See, I don't go that deep. First cousins, and that's it. Anything beyond that, I mean, it's really, you're getting...
You get 2nd cousins.
No, you're getting way deep in the DNA.
Because your 2nd cousins are like, like...
You can marry your second cousins, I think, in the state of Ohio.
You can marry your first cousin in West Virginia, probably.
Well,
You can also-
they mostly do.
You can marry your 1st cousin in Florida.
Wow.
In any event, so those are the traits we learned
In
with
any event.
narcissism and being late.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a lot like my mom. I think.
Oh, but okay. What do you got?
We're both good writers.
Oh, that's a nice trait. Okay.
We both, I don't know if this is something you inherit, but I feel like we both appreciate the same things. Like nature and stuff.
Nature. That's nice.
Sometimes we both probably speak before we should.
Say bad things.
Just sometimes, like, emotional, like, I don't know. I think I got some things from her that I'm still working on. Let's just say
Well,
that.
you know what? I think that's what life's for, working on
Yeah.
things.
Well, okay, well, if we're saying things, I'm like, if we're talking like hobbies, then like I mean, like my dad, I like hunting because my dad, I like fishing because, I mean, my dad would take us fishing, but my dad wasn't real big into fishing. He just kind of took us because he did. Yeah, I'm sure there's more, but football. Obviously, football. We would go outside and play football just about every day. Like he'd be all-time quarterback, and me and my brother would be on opposing teams. Like there's things like that.
So no traits really.
No, I mean, I'm sure there are traits. It's hard to like. I'd have to think about it. I don't know.
Well, I like to tell personal stories on this show, and this will kind of lead us into a bigger subject, because this is a true story. Recently, I was somewhere in a public place, not around this friend of mine, and somebody said something negative about this friend, and I did not defend them because they weren't there, and I don't even think the person knew that I knew them, but they did say something negative. And I went back to that friend and I said, hey, maybe you should watch what you're doing because people are starting to say negative stuff about you and I'm hearing it in the community. And I don't think they're saying it, I don't think they're saying it to me because I know you. I think they're saying it to me because they believe it's true. So maybe you better watch what you're telling people. And they got angry at me because apparently I'm supposed to defend them. And I am not supposed to let people speak badly about them when they're not around. Now, was I wrong here to stay silent?
I don't think so. I don't think my friends' arguments are my arguments. I think my friends' arguments are their arguments, and I have no part in them.
But I thought, like a heads up was good. That I even did that. That I went back and said, listen, I'm not going to tell you what I heard.
I agree, because personally, I don't even know that you are... I guess, because she's talking about like how she thinks you are like responsible, I guess, for like defending her if something like that happens. But
I didn't say it was a she, but I think you know the story.
Did I say?
You did say she, but I didn't. But go ahead.
Usually it's a she.
It always is a she, isn't it? They're a little more uptight than men, but that's a thing.
I think it depends on the situation, because sometimes there would be a time where it might not even be my friend. It might be someone that I'm not close to or I'm annoyed by, and someone else is coming down on him and talking, and I'm like, wait a minute, like if I feel like the person that's talking is wrong, and then they're...
But what if I'm not? What if they're not wrong? See, here's the problem.
Well, that's what I was going to say. There are also times when I would just be like, okay, and like listen, I think it depends.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
I listened
it depends.
because I don't know if that's true or not.
Right.
But I'm not going to go and ask them either. Now, that's out of respect for being a friend.
Yeah.
That I'm not going to go back to you and say, did you do this? Did you do that? Because that's irrelevant to me.
Yeah.
But I just want to let them know that people are saying things about you, and you probably should be on guard about this.
I don't even think that you have like a I can't think of the word, but I don't even think you have a responsibility to tell her that.
No, I don't think you do, but I think
yeah.
you can.
Yeah.
But I thought, boy, what a response I get for giving you a heads up that now you're angry that I didn't defend you. And then I was even told that, if that had been you, if somebody had been saying negative things about you and I was there, I would not have let them do that. Well, what do you say to that?
I've met a lot of your friends. I think that a lot of your friends would probably just go...
Yeah, they just let it go.
Yeah, they just pick up right along with them.
And I don't care. If you want to say negative things about me, that's fine. I don't mind. I don't take that stuff personally. What's the point?
I don't know.
I'm just glad you know who I am.
I'm just glad you know who I am.
Yeah, spell the name right. That's all that's all there is to it.
I don't think you were wrong.
No, but boy, they did. They took that very hostile.
Wow.
And then it became a whole thing about, well, you won't even tell me what they said. And I said, well, no, because then I'm gossiping. And I don't really even know if what they said is true, and you're not going to tell me if it's true.
Also, at that point, you're gonna go around asking people who like
then you're going to start looking.
You heard anybody say this?
Right.
Yeah, who would that be?
Yeah. That's, as soon as you tell them what it is, then it's going to be who said it.
Yeah, they're gonna open a whole investigation on that.
Right. So that's why I felt it was just, hey, watch yourself. People are saying stuff about you in the community, and I think you better pay attention to that. But then it all ended with, well, I don't really care what they say anyway. Then why did we go through this whole thing?
Well, I think that people just say that because it's like a self-defense mechanism. They don't want you to think that that like whatever anybody says gets to them. It's just because if it got to them, then they won, I guess. So they just kind of like, oh, it doesn't matter.
Right, but life is always perfect, and I saw that on Father's Day. I saw it on Mother's Day. I saw it on Easter. The pictures are always happy, and they're always love, and everything's always great. I know that's not reality.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, it's just not. I mean, I'm not saying it's bad, but it's really goofy when on Father's Day you scroll down through your news feed, and that's all it is. Oh, I have the greatest father in the world. Oh, I have the blah 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 blah. Now that's not reality, or we'd see more of them.
Yeah. Social media is such a highlight reel. I know so many people that if you look at their Facebook, you'd think, oh my gosh, they have a great marriage, they're a great person, they have a great everything. But then when you know them, you're like, oh my gosh, so many people.
You know what my biggest pet peeve is, though? And it happens on Father and Mother's Day. When you wish your spouse or your significant other a happy Mother or Father's Day, they're not your mother or father.
Yeah.
Let their kids do that. I mean, why do you feel the need to tell me that they're a good father? I don't care. How do you know they're a good father? They're not your father.
You should say there's too many Happy Father's Day posts. But you know what? I know a lot of people who don't
People jump on me for that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they would.
Yeah.
What about
Why do you have to be so negative?
Yeah. What about all the people who don't even know who their dad is?
They just make it up.
Yeah.
I know somebody, the thing that brought this to my attention was I know that this guy is not a good father, but yet his spouse was espousing how great a father he was. And you know what's funny about, he's not even the father of her kids. He's the father of, she's never had a kid with him.
Yeah.
Even though they're married.
So he's a really bad stepdad, and she was...
Whoa.
You said he's not a good dad.
I'm just saying.
So he's really bad.
I'm not saying he's really bad. I'm just saying I know he's not what she was espousing. And you know what's funny? The next morning on the radio show, I brought this up. How I'm so tired of seeing the happy this and happy that and blah, blah, blah. And this person, I think, knew that I was talking about them to some degree.
Yeah.
And they said, we just do that because that's an obligation. That's the day. So they were honest.
It is not an obligation.
Well, apparently it is for them. Because I think what they said, I wish I should have copied it down. But the message was because some people like to be acknowledged.
I think it's almost gone.
What a person you're living with there.
What a narcissist.
Yeah, exactly. What a narcissist.
I think I've gotten to, or not I think we've
They got the Billy Ray Cyrus disease.
I think we've gotten to a point as a society almost where I think if you were to say, like, to your parent, or I guess, I guess on Mother or Father's Day, oh, you're such a great whatever. I think that would mean more to them in person than it would over social media, but everybody does it over social media and nobody does it in person.
I'll tell you something.
That's true.
Well, here's something bad that happened to me, and see, this is where I wish there would have been social media. Recently, I learned that a friend, I'm going to say friend so we don't get too personal here, because this is a personal thing, her mother died. Kind of unexpectedly, but the mother was, elderly. And I knew that she had died because the person was out of work. And the day that we're taping this, I saw that person shopping. And it was the first time I'd seen them since their mother had died. So in my brain, I said, what do you say? It's been like 3 days.
Yeah.
But also, I don't want to not acknowledge them because nobody was around them. So I walked over, and I knew as soon as I walked over, this ain't going to be good. And I said, how's it going? Because I didn't want to say anything beyond that. And they said, not the greatest week. And I said, well, I'm sorry to hear about your mom passing away.
Yeah.
And she said, you couldn't say anything.
Right.
And in that moment, we're just standing in silence at that. And I'm not a hugger, so I certainly didn't touch her because I didn't want that. So what do you, and I thought this is the most horrible consoling job ever. I couldn't do anything.
Hugs are good for consoling.
No, I just, she started to talk more. This is she was on her way to clean out her mom's apartment.
Oh.
So it was just a horrible time for me to even do this, but I felt like I should say hello. But what can you say? You can't, like, how's the weather?
Right, yeah. I
Yeah.
think it does seem like, what the heck do you say? Except for sorry about your loss, even though that doesn't,
What are you supposed to say from, just from the flip side for a second, what are you supposed to say if somebody says sorry about your loss?
Thank you.
Just thank you?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I don't know. It always just felt strange.
I did ask how old she was, because I just thought, we are dying a miserable death in this conversation.
Yeah.
I said, so how old was she? And she said,
Drowning,
she gave me the age, and I said, oh, she had a good long life. And then I just got the heck away. That's enough.
Oh, I see you later.
3 questions are enough.
Yeah, that's a hard...
So what do you do?
That's a tough one.
You tell them you're going to pray for him, if you're going to. Or you say sorry about
Or just
your loss.
lie. Lie.
No, don't lie.
You do, because you got to get out of that conversation somehow.
Man.
I think you should do whatever you think will make that person feel better.
Do you like thoughts and prayers, though? I always wonder when people say that. I think it's great when people do it.
See-
but when people like thoughts and prayers,
If they're really going to send up a...
Nick, are you
prayer.
really?
So, like,
Yeah.
it really doesn't matter one way or another, in my opinion, if somebody says thoughts and prayers for a situation I'm in. It just always crosses my mind, like, out of curiosity. I'm like, how many people do you think are actually going to, like, pray for me tonight?
Yeah.
Like,
Right, but it's a nice thought
Yeah.
when they do.
So, like-
when you know the person really is, I think that's a very comforting thought.
Yeah.
But I think most people just say it because they feel it needs to be
it's an
said.
obligation.
Yeah, thoughts and prayers to you.
You know what I started doing? If I come across a post like that, I comment praying, and I'll say a prayer right then and there.
Well, really?
Yes, because if not, I am going to lie. I'm going to say thoughts and prayers.
Right,
and
you're not
going
going to write that stuff down when you
Right.
go to
So
sleep.
I'll just
write everybody's name
Think
down.
about it right
I'm
then
praying
and
for
there.
this person
I've
and that
seen
person
on
and that
a lot
person.
of, things on
So you
Facebook.
pray right then.
Yeah, I didn't
What
say
if you're
it was
at
a
work?
10-minute prayer. I wouldn't be on my social media.
No, people do though.
Yeah.
Like, what if you're at work and, oh Lord, my mother has died. So then,
I
you
mean,
know,
you can say a quick prayer.
I just say, I'm thinking of you.
Yeah. That's
See,
good.
because I am not thinking of you right now.
Yeah.
As I saw your post, I'm thinking of you.
Yeah. I mean, that's something too.
Or I say, sending good thoughts your way.
Yeah.
I don't say anything.
You will when you're old and grouchy.
Yeah.
So hold on, I have a question. Are we talking about on social media or in person at this point?
I think social media is easier to do.
Okay, yeah, on social media, I'm not saying anything.
Oh, what are you going to say in person? What would you have said to this person?
Is this somebody I know?
Yep.
Yeah, I thought so. Okay.
You signed the card.
I signed the card.
Yep. By the way, learn how to spell loss if you're going to sign a card. I was looking at this card. Oh, Lord. It was one of those work cards when somebody's mother dies. And some kid wrote, I'm sorry about your lose.
I knew that's what it was going to say.
Oh, I looked at that and I thought, oh, that's horrible. You don't know how to spell loss, you pinhead? Okay, anyway.
I probably would have said I'm sorry for your loss, and I would have offered her a hug, because I do, you know.
That's what you would have walked up and said?
Well, I would have said, like, obviously, like, how are you doing?
No, poor.
You know? No, how you doing?
Yeah, don't ask someone how they're doing.
That's what I said.
If
How
they're
you
both
doing?
beside.
And they said,
I
not the
always-
greatest week.
I always say how you doing.
Okay.
Not the
yeah,
greatest week.
yeah.
Well, actually, I probably would have said how's it going. That's always how I'll be like, how's
Well,
it going?
I'm giving you the answer. I got that answer. Not the greatest week.
I've heard. Sorry about your loss. And
Okay.
Would you like a hug?
Would you like a hug? I'm not doing that.
Why not?
Because frankly, that's just a step too far.
Well, I mean, I think this person would take the hug. Honestly, I do.
I like this person a lot. I think this person's great. I have a lot of nice conversation with them.
You don't offer people hugs who you think are going to turn them down.
True.
just a.
I'm
pro
not offering
strat here.
anybody a hug. I don't want to hug anybody.
Well, I mean that's.
I just think that's
saying.
awkward.
I mean, I guess it depends on who you're hugging. I don't hug people I don't want to hug.
True.
No, I wouldn't offer it to anybody, and it's not based upon do I like them or not, or do I think they're going to hug me back. I'm just not doing that.
You don't hug your mother?
No. I mean, see, I had to think about that because it's going to sound bad if I tell the truth, but I mean, no.
Okay, that's okay.
You do?
Yes, I
You hug my mother?
No, but I met your
That's
mom
an old
last
joke.
week.
That's an old joke.
No, but I hug
no.
my mother.
We're not touchy-feely.
I hug my mom. It's a beautiful thing.
God bless you. You hug your mother?
I don't think so.
Start today.
Oh no, we're too far along in the relationship for that.
Okay.
You can't bust up way things.
Yeah, at this point, like I think the last time I hugged my mom, she thought something was wrong, or something like that. Because like I mean, I just
You know what I do when people are I know that they're.
give them
Well,
a good
that's
old,
a hug. That's,
Is that?
give them a
Kind
good
of,
old pat on
yeah.
the back.
It'll be okay.
Yeah.
Oh no
You know.
no.
That's all you're getting. Because I don't believe in the hug. You know, recently.
What's wrong with the hugs?
Oh, it's awkward. It's
No.
Just, you know what?
It's only awkward if you hug people you don't like or don't want to hug.
It's people you're not hugging all the time. I told you that I tell people. Listen, I just
For
pass
you,
it.
it's everyone.
I have no,
Right.
I have no issues with hugging. I would have hugged.
Recently, somebody left, and they go, I swear this happened. If I maybe will get the person to tell this story at some point, but they were leaving town, and we had a fairly decent relationship, and we had never hugged. There was no reason for a hug, and we're standing outside by cars, and it was kind of like, you know, it's been great, it's been fun, it's been a lot of good times, and the person said, I feel like we should hug, and I said, let's put that on hold. And I did. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I swear I said that to that person, and they looked at me like, "Oh, okay." They really felt like they really had the cream on their face at that
insulted.
point. They were because, and I think they were embarrassed that they even brought it up because they're like, "Oh, okay."
See, that's why I said you don't offer hugs to people who you think are gonna say no.
Well, I just didn't want that. We've had a professional relationship. We do not need to be hugging in a parking lot.
I
There's
hug my coworkers sometimes.
Oh no! See, you're gonna end up in a Me Too.
I am not.
You're gonna end up in a Me Too. You gotta watch that. Listen, if that'll get you Me Too, then hugging certainly will get you a Me Too.
If that gets you Me Too, I feel like the Me Too movement might have gone a little excessive. If you know the good old, you know, like that thing. I feel like it might have got a little too far at that point.
If I do that to you, you know I like you because I wouldn't touch somebody who I felt was disgusting.
You should have patted that person on the shoulder and said, "It'll be okay."
It'll be okay. Well, that's what you do. But hugging, ooh, good Lord.
Why is hugging so bad?
Because it's touching, and we don't need big touching in life. I feel the breakdown of civilization has to do with touching, unnecessary touching. Why do we have to unnecessarily touch each other?
I feel like the breakdown of civilization has to do with greed, personally.
Oh, no. Touching. Touching. It's why? What is that? You know, that's not normal.
It's oxytocin. It's released in your brain.
Yeah, hugs are good for you.
They're very good for
Not
your
for
mental
me.
state.
No, they're very depressing. Very uncomfortable, very depressing, very awkward. And I think at the end, ooh, wish that hadn't happened.
Interesting.
That's all I'm saying.
Maybe you're a narcissist.
Could be.
He doesn't even like the handshakes.
No, the handshakes are horrible. I hate the handshakes.
I was taught that you have a good firm handshake.
Yeah,
You
you
do
see,
have a
like,
good firm.
same thing.
Yes, you do have a good firm handshake, but I just don't want to do it.
Huh. So what do? You just do it anyway?
I do it, but you know, most of the time you try to intervene, but hey.
I think since COVID, a lot less people shake hands. It seems like when you meet, you used to always shake hands.
Why do we have to do this? You've already acknowledged me. Hey, that's it.
You know what?
Stop.
I think it comes from back in the day before they had like written contracts. I think, wouldn't they do some type of handshake or spitting something to
I just know
make
that.
Bit.
like to make deals? They did something weird. I don't know.
I don't know about it, but I just know in business, typically, like you before you obviously you discuss terms and then you do the full handshake to seal the deal.
I'll sign paperwork.
See, like when I was a kid, like we would always be like, we didn't shake on it, didn't shake on it, wasn't a deal.
I don't know.
True.
I just, there's no need for that. But in any event, I hope you had a good time watching this episode. I hope you learned something. I can't imagine you would after this particular episode. But don't feel the need to hug. Don't feel the need to reciprocate. And to try to give condolences, but find a good way to do it. Have yourself a dilly bar in the heat. And tune in to the program. I know. That's just how hot it is. The Dilly Bar, the Dairy Queen Dilly Bar. For Matt Morgan, Heather Conley, Scott Spears, heading for the dugout.